Welcome everyone to, I think it is actually Gelato's first webinar on AI, where we're gonna open up a bit in terms of how we work inside Gelato with AI. And we're not only excited, we're also a bit, to be very honest, scared, as well as surprised at how fast the development of AI is going. And we've had many partners from different parts of the world wanting to share with them how we actually operate inside Gelato. So I'm very excited. I'm gonna let Pradeep and Styrbjörn later on in the presentation do a quick introduction. My name is Henrik. I founded this company around 15 years ago. It's been a long journey. We started as a B2C Optimal print business. We then moved into API in order to get access to the creator economy. And then I would say 5-6 years ago, the production partners that Gelato are using around the world, they asked us if they could also use our software. And after a couple of years of development, we launched GelatoConnect, which is the production workflow, it's the procurement software and the logistics software. We launched that last year. So much of what you will see today in terms of what Styrbjörn and Pradeep will demo also links to the software platform GelatoConnect in different shapes and forms in the different 3 modules: procurement, workflow, production in the middle, and logistics. So with that, let's move to the next slide, please. The reason why I wanted to just show this is also because I think there is a power in us working together. I view the fact that we don't come from the print industry as one of our most unique and valuable assets. Now, why? Because at the heart of Gelato is that we don't own any production assets. We don't own any fixed assets whatsoever, actually. So we partner with really good professional production partners across the whole planet. And what that enables us to do is to bring experience from all of these companies, which I do believe you all know, into the print industry. You know production, we don't. We know software, and we believe that the traditional print industry does not know software. And hopefully at the end of today's presentation, you will feel that working together is actually 1 + 1 = 5, 6, 7. And the whole is greater than the sum of the individual parts. So with that, let's move to the next slide, please. I wanted to show this slide because it gives a bit of an overview in terms of where the industry across the whole world is going, thanks to AI. And if we start from the top, you have an Indian e-commerce company who has been able to reduce the number of customer service agents by 90%, thanks to AI. AI has replaced 90% of their customer service agents. You then have Klarna, and Klarna is originally from Sweden. It is a payment company working very much towards the creator economy. Sebastian Semakowski, who founded Klarna, he actually now stated that they will not replace any person leaving Klarna. And their target is, so they had 4,500. A year ago, they had 4,500 people working in Klarna. They're now 3,500. On that, his aspiration is to reduce another 50%. Now, this is why it's also terrifying at the same time as it is thrilling and very energizing, because there will be repercussions, there will be consequences of all these shifts thanks to AI or due to AI. And here are just some examples. IBM just recently announced that over the course of the coming 3 years, I think it was, they will reduce their back office by 30%. Which is the equivalent of about 10,000 people, also thanks to AI. At the end of this presentation, we also aspire to present our way of working with AI in a way that you see that you also need to, we believe that you also need to make changes in the way you organize yourself. And if we work together, we can make those changes happen in the best possible way for you and for the industry. So next slide, please. This goes to the fact that we don't stem from the print industry. If we want to climb Mount Everest, we need to work together with a number of companies. Here you have some examples to the right. You have a sleeping bag, you have a tent, you have a GPS, and you have some shoes. It's not the case that a team that climbs Mount Everest goes and invents all of the things to the right. But if you successfully want to climb Mount Everest, you need to buy stuff, you need to access stuff that other companies are developing. And my hope is that you will see Gelato as one of these companies to the right. You do the climb, you build your company, and if we work together, we will be more successful. So next slide, please. Another slide that I want to just show you is, I often hear, who's your competitor? Aren't your printers competing with one another? Or we can do this ourselves, we can build this ourselves. The reason why I wanted to show this is that I believe that the competition in the digital print industry is not between printers. It is not between us and other software providers. I actually believe that we should work together. I believe that the competitors to this industry are the old manufacturing companies that have central production, they ship it out to the planet, they guess demand, while the digital print industry and the print industry in general right now is moving much more towards production on demand, highly personalized products. And I think that's super exciting. And what's even more exciting is that the consumers and the creator economy is pushing us all in this direction. They want more personalized products. They want more local production. They want less consumption. They want consumption that matches the demand. So production and demand has to go hand in hand. This is the unique power, I believe, that we as an industry working together can offer the consumers, but also the global companies. We have many global companies, and we'll speak about one that reached out to me asking if they can use Gelato across the planet over one single software platform. That is good for all of us. No matter if you're a software provider in this industry or a printer in this industry or a machine vendor, our competition is outside our digital print industry. So next slide, please. We wanted to come early on in the presentation just to show you a bit on these different types of AI tools that we're using. And I mean, Styrbjörn or Pradeep, if you just want to touch on a couple of these AI tools, these are tools that we're actively deploying, we're using every single day when we build the code and we build our software. So please.
Yeah, so happy to jump in here. We can just take Devin as an example. Devin is a fully autonomous coding agent, meaning it's a digital colleague as a software engineer. And our team is now using that, just like as you have other colleagues, you now have Devin. And when you listen in on the stand-ups from our engineers, they now sound like, hey, I will ask Devin to solve these 4 problems today, for example. So Devin is an engineer of the agentic kind instead of the what we're used to. Cursor is the most sort of trending tooling for how to code nowadays. This is what OpenAI, if you look at any video from them, they would all of their coding tools are based on Cursor. And what it gives you as an engineer is the ability to work together with the agents. So there are agents inside of Cursor to help you code and to solve problems and to collaborate. So it's a collaborative effort between the engineer and the agent to build software together, where you are rather orchestrating the agent rather than just doing all of the boilerplate stuff and the actual typing on the keyboard yourself. So it's a shift from in how we operate. So those are two. I'll take a third one also, and in that case, I'll take Grok here, as perhaps not everyone possibly have heard about OpenAI. Some have heard about Claude. Grok is, in terms of speed of how you generate all of these outputs from AI, Grok is able to do that 10 to 50 times faster than whatever you have experienced when you're chatting with ChatGPT. Imagine that being at 50 times the speed, meaning like what can you accomplish? And then you combine that with Devin and Cursor and how you operate with AI. It becomes as you think something and it happens. That is what Grok represents.
Pradeep, any tool that you would like to speak about in addition to Styrbjörn?
Yeah, I mean, there's a practical example later we'll cover with the Google Gemini where we worked with Google to implement. So we, in addition to coding and augmenting and speeding up work, we also leverage complex models. In this case, with Google Gemini, we work with them on computer vision to be able to do quality control of print material that is going through the packaging station. So that's one other example as well, Henrik.
Okay, thank you. Let's move to the next slide, please. So I wanted to be very open with this community and share a personal story. I started the company with the brand Optimal Print. That's how we 15, 16 years ago started to grow the first production volume and get the first print orders. We had a tech stack. We built basically every single thing inside Gelato. We then gradually started to realize that it goes back to the mountain image where you have to think about what is your core competence, what is your DNA. And we realized that when you look at Shopify and you look at how fast they're developing their platform, and Shopify, for those that might not know what Shopify is basically a global e-commerce platform with a repository and a library of amazing AI tools. And what I realized was we need to understand that we are not Shopify. Just like I believe that many in the print industry needs to understand that you are not a software company. And so what we did was we basically prepared for a massive downsizing, and we moved out every single pieces of code we had done during the last 15 years. We threw it out the window, literally. We threw it out the window, and we replaced it with Shopify Plus. Now, what that has given us is a 5x in cash flow in this business. And it's also given us a much, much better user experience and service from the customers, the end customers' perspective. So by daring to go after your core competence and DNA, you have a much better ability to truly access the power of AI and all the amazing software tools that are being developed and being launched on a daily basis, basically. So this is just me also saying that it's not just us talking about AI, it's actually us also living according to this principle of having the courage to say no and having the courage to focus on what we are good at. So next slide, please. This is a number that I was thinking, should we be open about this? But I do think that the more transparent we are, the better webinar we will have. And this is actually our tech leads targets for how much of our code base will be done through AI in 2025 Q1. Now, this is, of course, a staggering number, considering that a year ago it was almost zero. So you go back to the slide with all the AI tools that Styrbjörn and Pradeep spoke about, and you just realize that the speed with which this is happening, I think, I mean, this is just me thinking this, but I think the world has never seen anything like this before. It changes the social fabrics. It changes the way the companies are organized. And also, in Gelato's case, I have said to the whole company, we have stopped all hiring except for sales. So we are going through the same change as IBM and Klarna that I was speaking about before. Next slide, please. And then I just wanted to bring a use case here from Simon at ESP. We will, or not we, but Styrbjörn and Pradeep will show later on in the presentation what it means to onboard a customer with their full product library and product portfolio. And this is one of many tasks that we have now automated to the point where in this live use case, Simon said that bringing on board this Canvas brand before would be like a 500-hour work. And we are now down to 5 minutes, and we'll show you later in the webinar why that is the case. So I believe that is then over to you.
Great. Thank you, Henrik. So, hi, everyone. My name is Styrbjörn. I've been with Gelato now for 12 years. I lead part of our product. I've been in every single, most of our products throughout the 12 years history. My background is in engineering and math. And before this, I managed a 200 million euro brand in Sweden in the telco industry.
Thank you, Styrbjörn. My name is Pradeep. I'm the Senior VP for Product at Gelato. Been with Gelato for 7 years now. Have always worked in technology for over a decade, building software products. I'm an engineer by education, and currently fully focused on all that we're discussing now, which is to really leverage all of this software and AI power to bring that into the industry. I want to start with sort of taking a stab at how big is the impact of AI going to be. And Styrbjörn, if you move to the next slide, AI is set to add 22 trillion in value in the next, by 2033. And for just to relate to that number, that is 550 times the music industry. So print industry is going to be a part of this, and that is why we must all relate to it. We started off with narrow intelligence or narrow artificial intelligence, which is where we were. But now we are in the era of generative AI or generative artificial intelligence. And soon we are going to move into artificial general intelligence. So this curve is accelerating. And we wanted to start with just a couple of data points on how this is happening.
Pradeep, sorry to interrupt you, but this generative AI, generative intelligence, I can raise my hand and say I don't really understand that. Could you please just stop for a couple of seconds and explain what that means?
Absolutely. So currently we are in the age of like generative AI, where AI, you may have experienced ChatGPT or Claude or Grok that we showed earlier, where it is able to generate content. It is able to do creative tasks and tools on a sort of narrow subset. But in this slide here, you're looking at Optimus, and this is moving us towards artificial general intelligence. This is Tesla's humanoid robot, right? When we move to the next phase, which is artificial general intelligence, AI is expected to be better compared to human on all counts, right? Like so imagine that world where AI can emulate all of human characteristics in terms of what humans can do, but take it up a notch. So relating to scary yet exciting, this is sort of the intersection that we are in. And Styrbjörn, on the next.
I can just add that the narrow intelligence is what we have had the past 10, 20 years. Like a Google search actually uses a lot of AI under the hood, but it's very specific. You get a product recommendation somewhere. It also uses a narrow type of AI. The generative AI we have had for 2 years, right? But the speed at which it has been evolving has just been tremendous, which I think you will touch upon.
So there are benchmarks and tests which are being run to evaluate AI. Here in this plot, what it's showing is AI is now better than 99.9% of all humans in coding Ref Devin as one example, who's now our digital colleague, then we, also in physics and in math. A staggering curve in the next slide, Sturbion, is what, so ARC, this is a test that is used to evaluate, the intelligence of AI. And you can see here that after 2024, it has gone from 5 to 87% in terms of the ARC price, just in terms of how much the intelligence has improved just in 1 year. This is why it is not a gradual shift. And then what we're saying is that the landscape has completely changed. So going back to the point, which is that if this is not your core competence, and if you continue to build in the old way of building code, or you want to continue to build software products the way you have built before and not shift to the new way of building, then we know that you will be outpaced, outmaneuvered. So this is something that we take on board fully. One dimension that I showed earlier is how smart artificial AI is becoming, right? And has become. But there is also another dimension, which is actually extremely crucial. That is the price. So the price of AI compute power has dropped 99.3% in the last 18 months. So what you're seeing here in this curve is GPT-4, which is OpenAI's model. You can see how much the cost of 1 million tokens was just back in March 2023. And now you can see that it is 1 million tokens is just 25 cents. So there is the combination of extremely smart AI with, absolutely economical and lower cost AI is creating this complete shift in the industry. So two people whom we do follow and listen to and taken on board quite a lot. If you go to the next slide, one is Satya Nadella. So what Satya is saying here is that he sees that the traditional businesses and the traditional applications, which I would say is every single application that you're using right now, is going to fundamentally change in the era of agents. How do we take that on board? How do we prepare for that future? The second one here, this is from Sam Altman. And this is moving so fast that I feel this is already dated. He said that in 2025, we will see the first AI agents join the workforce. But as Sturbion mentioned earlier, the first agents have already joined the workforce, for example, in Gelato. And they're already working in Gelato because it's already the 16th of January. So that's how fast this is really moving. But ref agents and, digging more into what agentic AI is, over to you, Sturbion.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to say that if I have a chance to go back here, and then this slide is outdated the second you make it. And in terms of, there's a Chinese company called DeepSeek that just made the news completely in AI now in December, January, where it said for the cost of 1/10 of what OpenAI spent on training their model, they made an even more powerful model. So they're really saying just that this pace is just going to increase even more than what we're seeing here. It's just going to accelerate even more and more. The curves you're seeing are not linear. They are not straight. They're just going to be quicker and quicker and quicker.
I see some raised their hands here. If you want to ask questions, we will have a Q&A session at the end. You can also ask those questions in write-it format, and I will, at the end, take those questions and delegate them to the Gelato team. So back to you, Sturbion.
Thank you. So what is an agent at heart then? So you have an large language model like OpenAI, you have Anthropic's Claude, Grok. We saw a number of different ones. There are more than we can list in this whole webinar. And you give it the ability to use tools. A tool could be go and search on the web, look up in run any type of thing, run your computer. You have Claude's computer use, for example, where it actually takes over your computer and you can really just tell it what to do, either via voice or text, and it will go and do that for you. And it needs to be able to get data, so get and save data, and also remember what it's doing. So it needs to have memory. It's very much like how you can think about a person. And these components make it so that when you speak with it, and it doesn't just, in ChatGPT, when you speak with it, it just tells you the answer or what it thinks it is. Here, it can reflect and start a chain on itself, speak with itself, really. Like, think about something and like, oh, yeah, okay, so you wanted me to go out on the internet and do this, but hey, my first search really didn't work that well. I'll do another search. And it will work by itself until it has completed the task. That is very different from what you experience on ChatGPT. And this is the core difference. And now you can add more and more of those agents into teams of agents then, that then can go and achieve much, much larger tasks. And there's a whole, of course, industry and landscape shaping around this. And here, these are all agentic softwares and tools that we have tried, explored, or are actively using. Crew AI has taken in money from some of the largest or really strong investors within the AI community and some of the leading profiles within AI, like Andrew Ng. And they're really trying to make the agentic layer that we saw earlier of the $22 trillion, that is what they're going after, just like all of these players are. And so these are, and you have Devin trying with code, so that's more of a narrow use case. Crew AI is saying like, hey, turn everything into agents. But of course, it requires you to have the software underneath to manage that. And you have OpenAI, Swarm, Microsoft is in here. You have every single player going after agentic. And why is that? Yes, sorry.
No, just sorry to interrupt. I thought you were going to the next slide, but I just want to say one thing, which I think is important. So in Gelato, we have inside partners, we have SoftBank, we have Dawn Capital, we have Goldman Sachs Asset Management. They all invest in these companies. If you look at Crew AI, that is an inside partners investment. So one of the great advantages is that Monday this week, we actually had the whole team of Crew AI, including the CEO, having a session with Gelato where we are working together to build these agents, to develop their models. And that is another advantage of us making the whole greater than the sum of the individual parts, meaning that Gelato, being part of the print industry, carries in a lot of software power and lessons learned from the outside also. So back to you, Stefan.
Yeah, it was a great call on Monday. It was super exciting, and they're a fantastic team. And together, I think it's just extremely energizing to see what we're doing together. And if we take an example of like how does agents then relate into the print industry? So generating price estimates for print jobs are going to be in seconds, and it replaces really departments of people in your print house. So every agent can represent a print expert, an estimator, an estimation expert, imposition agent, and all of the departments are really represented as agents. And that is how you structure it from one to this much greater sum of the parts. And this is where we're currently running prototypes on with selected print partners. So it's a very exciting direction, scary, as we have said, but also exciting in many ways of it. And now we really wanted to share a few examples of how we are actually using agentic AI today. And one thing here is like when we listen to what printers are telling us, it takes them typically, what we hear, 9 to 24 months to, if they would have tried to onboard these 4 players. And it takes months. We heard the other day 7 to 12 months from one printer for one specific integration with a customer. And this is where agents and what we have built over 15 years really comes into play, where for the first printer, importing or sort of implementing really, what is this, 300,000 plus minus products will take 4.5 hours, because it's going to be given to the agents and they can go and execute just You will do something else. They go and work to implement all of these. The power of GelatoConnect then becomes for the next printer who wants to integrate all of these products. It takes 1 second because they're already there in our systems. And the agents can then combine them or transform them for you to your formats. And this is, Henrik.
No, please, I interrupted again. You go.
No, I was heading to the next part.
Yeah. So what I just wanted to say here is this is also why when you speak to the global brands, they have a global operation, so they need a global software. So this means that Starbucks, which is now producing, as you all know, millions, hundreds and millions of highly personalized merch, such as mugs, water bottles, t-shirts, with even down to the city all across the world. And I think they're now in 80,000, they have 80,000 stores across 82 countries. And so what this allows them to do is access a repository of already predefined SKUs or products, no matter where the Starbucks operations is in the world. So this is what I mean when we work together and we stop thinking that this is a zero-sum game, and for someone to win, someone else has to lose. I think everyone in the digital print industry, with all the technical advancements that are happening, every single one of us can benefit from this change that we're now seeing.
Great. And so with this in mind, what is the number of engineers that you should have today, right? So when you structure this with agents, when you use the power of GelatoConnect, and I think that answer, my perspective is that based on what we've spoken about so far, it should be 0, and we accelerate the path forward through agents, through GelatoConnect. And now I wanted to show you what that actually can look like. So here we're going to take the example of onboarding a photo book brand, which has hundreds of combinations of photo books that we need to now onboard. This is an example of exactly this pain that every printer is telling us about. Now I'm going to switch screen here. So what I'm going to show you is
still have the same screen, but
okay, I'm sorry about that.
I can see the right screen here, Henrik.
Okay, good. Then
Good.
probably just me. Let's go.
Thank you. So now we're going to go in. This is from the live production GelatoConnect environment. And now we're going to go at it and add all of those photo books to this. So this is me earlier today dropping a file with all of my photo book combinations, a real production file from one of our printers. And what the agent now is doing is trying to figure out what all of those data points and information that was in that file, because those do not connect to how Gelato views the world. They are based on how that printer has set up their data structure. And Gelato, we're unifying that data structure onto one platform, one structure, which will give you significant different types of benefits, not only that to scale the number of products, but how you can route orders, how you can do storefronts. There are many more benefits to that. And what the agent now has done, it's completed the task. It has figured out what sizes, what papers, how it should work, what every word means here. And the beautiful thing is, you have actually, what you have also done, you're now completely done with integrating your photo books, and your customer can start to place orders this very second. Now it's done. And that is the power of agents. And now this was us doing photo books. And then the agents can go now and work on the next product, and then the next product, and then the next product. That I think is like how we're gonna really, that's how you can see those 300,000 products all of a sudden being processed. by the agents that are just going to work faster and faster thanks to those different types of large language models we spoke about in the beginning. So let me switch back.
Yeah, thank you, Styrbjörn. I think one interesting aspect also here is that the agent never gets tired, right? I mean, the size of the file is never an issue. This week we processed and imported 108,000 products for a single customer, right? In one go. So imagine the scale that it gives. It doesn't matter what format of files Sotheby's or Starbucks sends to you. The agent will think and think and think till they normalize it and create the catalog in a universal language for our system to understand and produce it for you. So that is really the power, which, compare that to human beings. So this is a very good use case where we see that. We also want to share a couple more examples, right? I know we want to move to questions. Henrik?
I just wanted to add that one of our print partners in the US have tried to onboard that specific customer, and they spent 7 months and it's still not onboarded. And we have done the same job, or our agents have done the same jobs in a matter of hours. And it gives a sense of where this industry is going and the value creation that we can establish by working together. So back to you, Pradeep.
Absolutely. So a couple more examples. 10 to 15% of a printer's shipping cost is just returns. Why is that? I'm sure many of you would agree that the quality of the addresses dictate the quality of deliverability of that. And this has been a challenge for years. And now all of that gone within 5 days, right? So we deployed an AI solution for this, where the addresses are automatically checked and validated and fixed by AI, and this is just dropped. And the crazy thing here, again, going back to what we spoke about, which is extremely smart, but also extremely economical. Once you have the software layer, because we have that software layer, we were able to deploy this within 5 days across our customers during peak season, and this is the benefit that they got. Another example, Styrbjörn, if you go to the next slide, I spoke earlier about this, where we partnered with Google to develop the print industry sort of QC check feature. Inexpensive cameras that are installed in the quality station, the feed from those cameras are now sent to Google Gemini, which is running 16 different checks. Obviously, much better than humans because it's highly objective. You can see the results of all of those tests. In this example here, the camera or Google Gemini is reading the barcode, understanding which artwork and print file it is, how that should look like in reality, and comparing it to what it is seeing with its eyes, which is the cameras. And it's found that the rotation is off spec. So what we've seen with our customers who deploy this is that the real value of this is that they are going to have happier customers and less reprints and returns, because you send out non-objective quality checked items which are not accepted by customers. So that is really the power of this. So with that, over to you, Henrik, because we can keep going on and on with more and more examples, but I also wanted to, we wanted to give you a taste of also what you can expect.
Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, it's pretty obvious that I'm definitely not the smartest person in the room. So I will make sure to use both Styrbjörn and Pradeep when you submit your questions. So you can already now, we have 2 questions already submitted. Just please send the questions you might have while I go through the last slide here. I mean, we just wanted to show you a couple of things that we're doing. In addition to this, we have a number of areas, and they range from the AI engine we have in procurement now. We call it the GCP module, the GelatoConnect procurement module. We also have the same type of AI optimization in the way we select carriers. But in addition to that, we're now looking at, we have impositioning that we are reinventing, pricing and estimations. I spoke to one large printer in Europe Monday this week, and basically they have 100 people in this company working with price estimations, order intake, invoicing, job delegation. And I believe that this industry has to compartmentalize and inhale that perhaps that number at the end of this year should be anywhere between 80 to 30 people. Like, this is the order of magnitude of change that we are looking at. And that's why I say it is scary and energizing, everything together. Scheduling, of course, so you also see that as part of a big manual task today in the industry. Machine integration, today we already have a drag and drop workflow across all the machine parks. We support everything in digital, but we also have moved into apparel. And during 2025, we'll also add a job-based offset. So we want you to be basically able to drag and drop machines and integrate them directly into the software. You have product configuration that we also see AI can help a lot with. Cost and profitability tracking, direct mail. A lot of the direct mail is quite manual today. And there are both robotic tasks, but there is also the thinking power and the AI to just build and allocate all these millions of print files in a direct mail order. Invoicing, we spoke about, pre-press file adjustments. And then one thing we're getting a lot is requests for outdated legacy burden print web to print solutions like the storefronts. Many printers have built them themselves. It doesn't make any sense. You go back to the Optimal print case that I spoke to you about previously. Now, just want to double click on that. We used to have 2 engineers and 1 product manager for the CRM tool in Optimal Print. We have replaced that with an app for about $80 per month. So when you look at how fast these things are going, you get a sense of what we're looking at and what we're working with when you see this slide. So with that, I propose that we move into questions. We have a couple here. So the first one, I think I can take Styrbjörn and Pradeep. What is driving the falling cost of AI compute capacity? Is it more provisioning of dedicated processing facilities with environmental impacts around energy use, or increases in inherent efficiency, or both? I took some notes on that. I would say that number one is hardware advancements. You all seen, I think, NVIDIA. I would say that's the primary reason for the drop here. You look at the chips there, it's an order of magnitude more efficient. You have the cloud computing competition today. I mean, we launched AWS, Amazon Web Services, like 10, 12 years ago. Now you have AWS, you have Azure, you have Google Cloud. Those are the usual suspects, but you also have many, many more. So AI efficiency improvements. Just every single day you have smarter algorithms. They learn a lot all the time. Economies of scale. Obviously, as NVIDIA has grown, AI has grown, you get more out of each dollar. And then energy efficiency gains. Again, coming back to NVIDIA, but more generally, all the computers are becoming more and more efficient by the day. And then, yeah, let's end there. So the next question comes from Scott. Regarding brands and their products to set up, we mentioned 4.5 hours. Are the thumbnail images of the product also generated, managed in the same process, Styrbjörn?
Yes. So it will have this also connects into the storefront, right? So which Henrik also spoke about here in the end. So the whole end-to-end chain, the products are set up, the configuration, the imposition, and then publishing into your catalogs and the storefront. It's all that whole chain is managed by agents.
Pradeep, you want to add anything?
No, I mean, I would just say that what you need the agent to do, we can ask it to do. I have examples of a customer who didn't want the image part of it, or, you know, to publish to a store. We asked the agent, don't do it. Like, it's really, once you have the core software, which is sort of what we built over the last 15 years, integrating that with agents, then it's a matter of working with the agents to accomplish anything that we would want to do. And that's really the scary thing and the exciting thing, that the possibilities become endless in terms of how we can drive and partner, right?
Okay, thank you. Alessandro Rufino, what is Gelato's vision on the role of humans working in AI within the platform to enhance operational efficiency in the printing industry? I mean, I would answer that in kind of two layers, and then Styrbjörn and Pradeep, please chime in. But AI, the way I think about it, it's like Gore-Tex or aluminium. Like at a very, very high level, AI is a fabric, but it will encompass everything we do. And you saw at the end there a number of areas, traditionally in the print industry, quite humanly intensive work tasks that are so anything that is repeated and does not require, deep thinking. And we're also moving, by the way, into deep thinking, but anything that is repetitive definitely should be and needs to be automated. And then we come to this more philosophical situation. What is the role of a human with AI, working with AI in the print industry? I don't know, really. I think things are happening so fast now that there are so many questions coming back to the scary. There is a book, Scary Smart, by Mohammed Gadwat, who used to work and lead Google X. I recommend all of you to read it, Scary Smart. But there are so many dimensions of how AI will change the way we work. But I don't want to paint this only in dark colors, because on the flip side, there is a ton of creativity, of collaboration, the possibilities of supporting global brands, like we mentioned, McLaren or Starbucks, thanks to AI, are immense. And of course, with AI and much more efficient order intake, we in the digital print industry, I think we stand before unprecedented growth opportunities. And I do believe that we as humans are also winners of this from a sustainability perspective, because it doesn't make any sense to produce, like I did in my previous job in Tele2. We had 32 countries around Europe. We produced every single print material in Sweden, and then we shipped it out to 32 countries. I think that's just nuts. And especially with AI, we can do this so much more efficient at a local level, fueling the growth in the digital print industry. So Pradeep, Styrbjörn, anything you would like to add?
I would add two things, right? I mean, one, how more practically, and we do this within Gelato, which is to say, how much more productive are you now thanks to AI compared to before? I think that is something that we need to take on board, and those who embrace that are going to win, meaning, you could win more business. There's like many other good things that come out of it. And then on the flip side, there are some things which we know that the agents are going to take. We may like it, we may not like it, but that is going to happen. So I think this is the time of reshaping. Many have compared it to like when electricity was invented, how did things change? So we don't exactly know how it is going to be, but at least within Gelato, how we relate to it, and we ask ourselves this question, which is how much more productive are you compared to what you had before AI? Sure.
Yeah. Or how much more creative can you be? Well, Styrbjörn, do you want to add anything before we move to the next?
I think you both covered it quite well.
All right,
let's
good.
take the next one.
So, Mr. Kasper, storefront is something Gelato provide, a question mark, or do we build it ourselves, for example, with Shopify? So, Styrbjörn, please.
I'll let Pradeep take the first.
All right, even better.
Yeah. So it is going. So we integrate natively with these sort of web to print storefronts so natively that you wouldn't have to build it in Shopify. Let me give you an example. The example where Styrbjörn created the photo books talking to an agent, you have a button to just push it into your web to print store. So we take care of the work, but that's how we work with web to print storefronts.
Okay, then actually we're out of questions. If you're not a fast typewriter here, I will just say we will share the presentation to the outside world. I would like to end by saying I believe that we as an industry stand before such exciting times, incredible growth opportunity, creator economy. It didn't exist 10 years ago. It's now heading towards $300 billion, which is almost 10 times the size of the total global music industry. And Goldman Sachs estimates it to be $500 billion by 2027. So what does that mean? It means that creators around the world that are producing and designing personalized products will want to come to us, everyone in the digital print industry. And again, I do not understand anyone in this industry that is thinking from a zero-sum game perspective, because this industry is not a zero-sum game industry. We can grow all together, but we need to work together to access this. So we appreciate the time you spent listening to what we have. I thereby say thank you to everyone that has joined. And we hope to see you all soon. And if you want to reach out to any one of us, you'll find us on LinkedIn. And we are fast respondents here. So take care, everyone, and thank you very much.